right mix.
All right, I'm gonna predict two things for you, Tommy.
Okay, come on.
One, we are definitely going to have some love connections.
Okay.
Two, we are definitely going to have some intent.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Told you guys about Ready to Love Part 2, where we talk about the rest of the casting game. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you returnees, you got the minerals. You got the minerals. Alright, cool. Don't forget to grab your merchandise as well. Boom. Alright, let's get into it. So, we had David, 30...
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. In the dating world, I have had problems with being open. I don't know.
6-year-old chemical operator. He is from the deep south. Now, as soon as I saw him, I knew straight away that the guy's been hurt. I knew the guy probably has been taken advantage of. Just the way his nature is, I know how cruel the world can be. I knew that some woman's probably broke his heart. I could tell straight away. His energy, the way that he carried himself on screen, for me, told me straight away, rah, I think my man has been hurt in the past, and potentially could get hurt in the show too. Because it's like, nice guys, when you're too nice, it seems you get taken advantage of in this world, you know? And this is not a show that is about marriage. This is a show about dating. And in that sense, it's a competitive field right now. So I know he's from Deep South, got that nice country accent. He also may be a dark horse. He may be some of the ladies, if they're getting serious, will start to consider. What I did like about him was that, you know, he seemed kind, he seemed gentle. You know, again, not going to be an alpha male. But, you know, I thought that if the ladies are serious about settling down with someone, this guy could be someone you're going to settle down with. He's not going to be your apex predator. He's not going to be the top of the food chain. But it could be someone that you can actually partner with and settle down with and actually get along with.
There's been a good bit of times me being cheated on. So it's just like, that's what makes me shy away from it at times. Because
he has trust issues and being open. And as soon as he said that as well, I knew something bad had happened to him. You know, this show, women are more penalized for being guarded than men. Men who are guarded seem to be rewarded with being mysterious. But in his particular case, I don't know how mysterious it will be. I think his guard being up may be a hindrance for him going forward, rather than actually being a mystical or mysterious kind of feel. For instance, like Brett from last season. Brett was mysterious, right? He was guarded, but his whole ethos, the way he moved, the way he carried himself, he's a Sigma male. The way he was isolated from everybody else. He wanted to do his own kind of thing. Different type of guy. So I don't know about David. And then obviously he said he got cheated on a few times. And I just saw that, so look, that good nature here in this competition will get you killed. It will get you killed. You see the women, how they get treated, the men too. You won't last long. Okay? You need a bit of nastiness in you in this kind of competition, because it's dog-eat-dog world out here, and we're in a competition pool where alphas will look at their most best because it's competition.
I do that again. When I do love, I love hard. I want to find love like badly. So
and so he said he loves hard, and that's where I realized that's where the advantage is being taken. You're soft, you're kind-natured, but you love hard. You fall too quick. You give too much too early. You don't realize that obviously, you know, what you're given, they've got to give back to you. You're shooting your shot, but not realizing that where you're shooting it to, it's not a safe haven. And unfortunately, you get taken advantage of. So for me, I saw that and I said, this guy won't be in a competition too long if he doesn't play his cards completely right. He's got to find one babe that will like him. Just find out one correct babe, settle down, latch it, be done. You understand? You know, and it's funny because he mentioned the fact he's traditional type of male. He's hands-on, he fixes cars, he fixes houses. It's funny because obviously when I was reviewing another show called Married at First Sight, and we were talking about masculinity and talking about the fact that, you know, the traditional male who does traditional male things, it's not the epitome of masculinity, okay? It's an old idea which is now fading about what a masculine male is. So it's not, the masculine male isn't just about fixing cars and getting their hands dirty and just having, you know, a steady job. You know, there's more to being masculine, more to being a man now. But it was interesting that he picked up on that traditional male tendencies. He might get along with someone that will like that kind of thing. You know, maybe NYYA. You know, NYYA who wants to be a stay-at-home mum. Maybe that will be his type of entry. That will be a good match for him.
My name is Jay. I'm 43 and I own a real estate company. We are a boutique real estate brokerage focusing on more luxury and the real estate market, development as well in Houston.
Again, this guy's going to be probably a dangerous character. Had confidence, bags of it. You know, he's a estate broker. You know, he's got the mouth. He's going to talk. He's got the gab. He's going to definitely try and make something happen. It looks like he's got a good taste in fashion, solid. You know, got a taste of the luxury. This is going to be hypergamy playing in the in the content circle, because if you see him, you speak to him, know what it's about, you're going to be seeing security, isn't it? You're going to be seeing finances. You're going to be seeing what? Money. You feel me? Obviously he's been married as well. Again, it's like everyone's been married. Like, he was married for a total of 4.5 years, and now is looking for someone. It didn't really necessarily say he's looking for someone to settle down with per se, but he's looking for someone.
Maybe in my marriage, I probably learned that there are some other important things I may have missed out on just because I was so focused on taking care of the household. I really was one of those type of people where once I kind of leave for the office.
Right? And what he learned about his previous marriage was that, you know, he was too focused on being a provider. And I think this is the key thing. Having a balance when it comes to marriage, you have to understand your first ministry is your marriage, and everything else has to follow. So though, yes, you were chosen because you had a provider role, your first ministry is the marriage. It's to make sure the marriage works, and make sure the marriage goes forth and prospers before anything else. Because if the marriage fails, everything else is going to feel like a failure after that. Anything you touch seems like it's turned dead. So that learning process of the fact that you can't spend too much time on your work, and you have to be balanced in how you approach your family and your work, and understand that you have to give a bit of both. Understand that you've got to be able to find a fine line between I'm working hard for the family and I'm just working hard and telling the family that I'm working hard for them, when really it's just about me. It's about my goals, my ambitions, what I'm trying to achieve. He said he didn't want his daughter to see that the toxicity was normal in their relationship, and quite rightly, kids suffer in divorce, but they suffer even more when people keep together and it's very toxic. I think obviously that's the right move to make. It's going to be interesting again because he's another man who's also got a father. A daughter. Which is really interesting. Like, the value of these men doesn't change that much with one child if they've got, good high earning. Yeah, because they still show they have provider energy. Yeah. But with women, when they've got one child, it can be a hindrance just because way men are. And you want to start afresh, you want to start anew, it can be a little bit difficult. But I think there's enough of a mix in this group that the men should find women that potentially will have kids as well. There's not going to be many people that won't have a kid. It's a very rare in this bunch. So first of all, going away to a resort is going to be like a get out of jail free card for a lot of these parents. And it's going to feel like first time you're being free.
Lots of flaws. My dad still look at my mom's butt when she gets up. I'm like, dude, you've been the same woman for 40 years. You still looking at that? You know what I mean? But that's
important here is that, there is a good model for him to follow in terms of what he needs to go in a relationship. What I would say is, obviously, did he follow that model? Did he see that model? Or, is the socio-economical situation that he's in different from his father's, hence why he chose a different type of wife? Because often what you see is a replication of from father to son. The son will pick a similar woman to how his mum was. Like, do you know what I mean? To keep that balance going, to keep that safety and that security of a family going. The fact that obviously didn't work out, maybe, the socio-economical situation that he was in, the son, was greater than his father. Therefore having a different access and pull to women, right? And so we can see that obviously he does want a kind of relationship where he said obviously about his father seeing his mother, and his dad was looking at his mum and still looking at her butt after 40 years and was still excited. And then to have that kind of vibe, it's not easy to have that. It's work. It takes time. And it's not a straightforward situation to have that in a marriage. You have to work at it. Whether he had those tools to do so, we don't know. We'll probably find out.
Sassy and I'm aggressive. It's the one job you can have as a black female, and you can be tough, and people pay you for that. When I date, it's kind of like the way that I practice law. So you have a threshold.
Separate video with Simone because I think it's such a big topic. Simone is a sassy, aggressive attorney who I truly believe, okay, is sassy and aggressive and wants to be put in her place, as she said herself. But actually, this is a girl who's never had safety. This is a woman that's never had safety. I'll tell you why. When she said, obviously, I want a man to put me in my place, she mentioned before that, you know, now she's had time with her father.
That until I deal with my daddy issues, I'm gonna keep dating these jerks. So I asked daddy to go to therapy with me. We started going on daddy-daughter dates. He's grown to laugh.
She spent time on therapy, you know, and realizing that obviously she needs a man that's gonna love her and take care of her and that's gonna allow her to be able to be free, to be able to be herself, goofy, funny, silly self. Well, if you've never been able to do that, it means you've never been in a safe place to do that, which means you never had a safe environment, which means that's why your sassiness and your aggressiveness is part of your character, because it's a defense mechanism. You've not had a time to be able to, you've not had a space or a place to be able to be safe, to be able to enjoy the spoils of your actual personality. That's a big thing. And I want to address that in a separate video and talk about that as well. She said obviously she understands that men don't want a man to micromanage them, but she struggles sometimes, and that's probably the attorney in her. I think that's not just the attorney in her. I think that is the control of the situation to make sure she doesn't get hurt. That is to make sure that, you know, you don't enter the same space you were entering before, which is an environment where you weren't safe, which is that when you were a child, your father, unfortunately, being there but not really being there, didn't create that safe environment for you to be your full self.
I would love the option to be sensitive sometimes and like be taken care of.
I want someone who can tell me to go sit down somewhere when I'm being too extra, put me in my place, but then who...
She said that she was dating a guy like her dad, 7 years long, toxic relationship, but once she went to therapy, she realized that's not the kind of guy she needs to be going for. And so that's where I got the idea that this is a girl who needed that emotional safety, which she never had. And she's starting to get it now, you know, and she's starting to see that. But that's why she made that comment about put me in my place. Again, you know what I told you, toxic dysfunction. You know, and she said obviously she realized she needed healing from those situations. And she knows that now she's definitely loved. And I think that's a very key thing. A lot of us are broken people, not knowing if our parents really love us, going into relationships where we are seeking for that person to fill that void of love that we never had from our parents. So now, when that person disappoints us, that thing triggers that our parents disappointed us. So now everybody in the world disappoints us, because your parents are everything in your world. They are your first world. And so now when they disappoint you, you think the whole world disappoints you. If the very two people that you should trust and have a maternal bond with can fail you, then the world can fail you, more than likely, you know?
Be taken care of.
I want someone who can tell me to go sit down somewhere when I'm being too extra, put me in my place, but then who also just like supports and encourages.
She wants to be put in her place. Again, I've done a video on this, so you guys can watch it. It's toxic dysfunction. It's toxic dysfunction. Wants a man to allow her to be the quirky, goofy, and silly Simone that she is. And again, that will come out when you find somebody who creates a safe space for you. Do not go after the guys that are just going to be sexy and good looking. You need a guy that's going to be emotionally intelligent and aware. Create a safe space for you.
I'm 36 years old, and I'm a visual artist and illustrator. It's been mostly portrait.
We had Sam, 36, who's an artist. I was like, bro, 5 children. Or how many children he's got? Like, bro, no, sorry. He's got 2 baby mothers, isn't it? Yeah, he's got 2 baby mothers. And obviously had a situation with one of the baby mothers as well. Bro, I mean, first, only thing I can really say is, the story situation with his ex-baby mother is obviously something that is still hurting him. When he was talking about it, he was looking down. He couldn't look at the screen. And that let me know that this is still probably a fresh pain.
Yeah, I had to call it off from that point. 5 years later, I finally felt like, hey, I'm able to come out.
He was looking down, he wasn't looking at the screen. I said, oh, this girl who did him dirty, it hurts. Not only does it hurt for what she did, but the fact that you're not able to see your son as you want to see him, this cuts you deep in a certain way. Again, whether you've healed enough from that to go into a relationship on this resort, big questions got to be asked. I think you'll be out early. You know, and he said obviously he needs a wife that will allow him to be there for his kids. Well, you know, women are often pretty good at that. You know, they don't seek to try and be too territorial. Not every woman. There's a lot of women that are not like that. But I think you won't have a problem with finding a woman that's like that. So, you know, there is, like I said, you have a few women in there who already have children. So this shouldn't be too difficult to find a woman who will be appreciative of that. It's just whether you're in a space. I think one of the cast members said, I don't remember her name, about whether you're in a space to actually be able to go out and date when you haven't sorted out the children's situation.
Running track my whole life. I went to Grambling State University on a 4-year scholarship. Got offered to go to the USA Olympic tryouts. Now I'm coaching.
9 track and field. Okay, Denise is reminds me of Miranda, I think, from the very first season. It's like beautiful dark-skinned woman, okay, but has an energy that can be carried as intimidating, but also as well, you know, it's a presence, but it can be looking as intimidating. And I'm being very careful because I know she's a dark-skinned black woman, and what can happen is that we can label dark-skinned women as soon as they are aggressive as being aggressive. Do you know what I mean? Whereas light-skinned women, they can get away with it. Here's my thing. Like I said, Alexis from last season was aggressive too. Whether she was light-skinned or not didn't make a difference. She was aggressive. I called her that. Denise carries a little bit of that aura, similar to last like first season of Miranda, where I'm scared that she might get a bit pushy. If she finds the right to a guy, she'll open up, be fantastic. She said, once you get to know me, you know, once you get to know me, I'm open and I'm good to know. I'm laughable. I want to enjoy, have fun.
And it comes out intimidating to certain people, or they can embrace it. I will marry you. I'm fun. I'm loving. I'm your sister girl. I will marry everybody in the back.
It's just whether people want to break down that wall. Do we want to break down that wall? I don't know. It's similar enough to, like I said, like last season with the Tondi, another girl, I can't remember her name now, when they were having a beef and the girl was saying, we can get it going, and it's like, bro, that aggression, yeah, dark-skinned women get penalised further than light-skinned women. I'm sorry, I don't know if anyone likes to say that, but I've got to be true. Light-skinned women will get away with it if they're aggressive. Do you know what I mean? Even if we call it out, the way that men will react to them is completely different. And so she got into a relationship where she said previously her relationship was toxic, and so she's been single for 4 years and she's been enjoying, you know, she's been having sex, she's been going out there, you know, doing her absolute rounds and just being free and enjoying herself. And I think that came from the fact that she was trapped in a relationship where she felt like she couldn't move and couldn't breathe. And I think the freedom now to go out and date has given her the impetus, has given her the impetus to go and be free. You know, it's given her the impetus to say, hey, I need to live life. I'm not going to be tied down. And now finally, the legs have run out, and now she wants to actually start dating and being serious. Because she said herself, she wasn't serious before. You know, she wasn't serious before. She was just enjoying herself and letting man, you know, just be free and not going into a monogamous relationship, just being free. But she also says as well that men get uncomfortable not knowing my full package.
Men get uncomfortable with not knowing my full package of who I am. You can't put me in a box.
Now, listen, I get the confidence, you understand? But like I said, men get uncomfortable not knowing my full package. I'm like, yo, that might sound a little bit intimidating, my guy. You know what I mean? Like, again, unfortunately, the narrative can be pushed. I think it sounds a little bit intimidating. You know what I mean? Men get uncomfortable not knowing my full package. Like, your wall could be a defense mechanism that you don't see that will push away men. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, you can't put me in a box. And it's like, no, we can't. But what you're saying is, I don't want to be controlled. So when she said you can't define me, you can't describe me, what she's saying is, no, you can't control me. I am not in a particular box. I'm not in a particular demarcation. You should know that unfortunately, you can't tame me. I will do whatever I want to do. That's what she's basically saying.
My name is Chris, also known as KG Smooth. 42
KG Smooth. Listen, you wear a pink suit, you're exuberant, you're exciting, you're full of life and full of energy. You wear a pink suit, you're about to be a bag of personality. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy to wear a pink suit as a man and work it. He's got a great body, he's in good shape. He's been 8 years monogamous since 2012. Now, I say monogamous, 8 years single, right? Since he had the last monogamous relationship. But it's interesting, the wording that he used was monogamous relationship, meaning that, there's been some things that he's been doing between that time. You know what I mean? He's been living some life. But I think obviously with him, it's whether the women are going to take him seriously. Now, he seems like a good character, fun, enjoyable. It's just going to be about whether the women actually take him seriously. Now, he said about the fact the last girl that he had, he's a public figure. The girl was obviously basically insecure. You know, I want to make sure that obviously that insecurity wasn't because he was pushing or making her insecure with his behavior. You know, sometimes men will be like, yeah, she was crazy. But what were you doing that she was crazy? You understand? Yeah? Like, what were you doing? What were you doing to help make sure she weren't crazy? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of that as well. And he said obviously, you know, that he wants a woman with melanin. And you remember I told you about the earlier one in the first episode, first video, that another guy said, I like all types of women, light skin, dark skin, did it. This guy specified straight, I want melanin. So you can tell that people who have got a real intention for dark skin, who've got real intention for women, they will let you know what side they are on.
Just as long as she has melanin, I need some melanin. Ladies, this is KG Smooth. If you are looking for an incredibly funny,
you know what I'm saying? So my man told you straight, listen, I'm a melanin type of guy. Hey, it is what it is. We had Danny as well, project coordinator. You know, I like Danny. I love her heart. I love her warmth. You know what I mean? I pray she finds a really good dude.
My name is Danny. I am 41. I'm a project coordinator for a pipeline company. It's a corporate job. I got married at 20.
She doesn't seem like a very bad, like a bitchy woman. She doesn't seem like those people that are going to play games. She seems like a very astute woman. She's in corporate. You know, at 20 years old, she got married. She's kind of been making sure that her child comes first, which means her child's going to be top priority. So she's going to need somebody who doesn't mind being a surrogate father or being a substitute father, stepfather. Do you know what I mean? That person has to understand that her kid comes first. I know she's now dating, but she's going to always put that child first. The way she's spoken about her child, the way she got emotional. It reminded me last season of another woman that had a kid as well, but she was really too emotional. I can't remember her name. She was out early. You know, the emotional aspect of things can put you out the game. Because if a guy sees that, he's like, you're too much. You're already too much. You're gonna do too much. You know what I mean? I need you to be stable. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just saying that some guys may look at it when she's been that emotional and she got crying about her kid. It reminded me of last season of another girl that was doing the same thing. She started crying about telling her story, and I said that will be a sign of weakness that a man in this show will try to not exploit, but will not want to be attracted to or not go near. You know what I mean? And so I respect the fact she didn't want to bring men in and out of her child's life. Like I said, she's principled, her child comes first. And then she said obviously her last 3 years, one significant relationship. And the reason why it ended is because she understood that the man needed time to work out his space and get his bearings because he had just had a child. What I would say about Danny is that she's empathetic. She understands the people's emotions. She can understand that, you know, this man needed time and she was willing to do that. So she's got a sacrificial nature. She's very kind. It's interesting because what she wanted was a man that is kind, a man that communicates, and that she can share herself with. And that's a big thing because all the things she mentioned there.
Just come on, just be kind. I need someone who's a communicator. I need someone who will care for my heart because I have a huge heart and I just want someone that I could share me.
Aren't necessarily to do with looks. Have you noticed? None of the things she mentioned are to do with work. She spoke about how she wants a kind, communicative, and share with me type. She wants me to share herself with somebody. That's a partnership that she wants. She doesn't want just a man to come in and provide. I'm guessing because she's got enough money, she's in corporate. But she wants a man that's going to be able to. She wants a man that's going to be able to, you know, just love her really, and just be comforting to her. That's what she needs, right? And I respect that. You know, some other girls have said beforehand they're looking at the looks and stuff like that. And I'm like, listen, it's not the last one if you go down that road. We've got Edwin, 39, private chef. You know, he hasn't had a lot of relationships, but he came out from Iraq. Seems like a very sound kind of guy. Good energy as well. had a bit of a party life and now wants to settle down. So now he's got it out of his system, he wants to settle. Now obviously we know there's another chef in the show, whether you want to have a chef, I don't know.
When I became a chef, it was like, okay, well I need a name that's going to be catchy. Yeah, Chefs in the City. Chocolate is
but he spent a lot of time speaking about the name for why he got, you know, chef in the kitchen or chef in the city or whatever. And there's a lot of time spent on, you know, his actual job, but not a lot of time spent on him. So I don't really know much about him apart from his job. Now, but what he did say was the key, relationship is about how we help each other.
Relationship is about how I can give to you to help you succeed in life, to be a better person, whatever it may be, and you do the same thing, and in turn, then we're growing together. I want
partnership. I think him and Danny would be really good because the partnership that she's wanting, this is the kind of guy, a relationship that is about how we help each other and self-develop basically, yeah? And so that partnership would be really good for himself and Danny. I think if they're to look correctly, he could be that kind of person for her. There was Shay, she was also a chef. Again, Shay was quite interesting. She reminded me a bit of Rashima as well. So she had
years old. She has a 1-year-old. I got pregnant at 16, had her at 17. Having a kid in high school, it was very embarrassing, but I kept my mind focused.
She had a kid in college, 16. Put herself through college, and it's interesting because her story reminds me of Shay from season 1 as well. Same kind of thing. She had a kid young. She's had to look after herself. She's made a way for herself, made money for herself. You know, financially stable. But you know, at the start she had a kid and it was not easy. So similar kind of story there as well. But she makes it very clear she's not interested about the looks. Again, love that. But she's interested. She made a joke about obviously if he's my ugly, he's better than your fine person, whatever, right? Again, reminding me of Shima the way she was talking. But I think obviously, you know, again, I'm not saying anyone should not think about looks. I want to make it very clear. What I would say is that, you know, you want to be focused on the heart. But looks should come into it too. You can find someone attractive and have their heart as well. You don't.
If you see the guys I've dated, you'll be like, I don't know what her type is. I date people based on how they make me feel and how they treat me. Because at the end of the day, all you have is the connection, the love,
You just don't want to be focused to put so much weight, you know, on the looks part because that fades. You know, beauty is fleeting. You know, as the Bible says in Proverbs 31. And then she spoke about the fact that, you know, it takes a lot. You know, she takes a lot from the fact that pursuit. So if a guy gives her energy, she's going to give it right back. It sounds just like a Shima from last season. The exact same thing she was saying. Like, so if she gives that energy, she's going to get right back. And so I think, you know, if she finds a great guy here, you know, she'll have some real relationships. Otherwise, she's going to be out early, man. I'm just saying. You know, and the thing is, the problem with this is that men falsify energy. They'll give you energy in the beginning as if they really want you. And then all of a sudden, they've left you, they've dumped you.
He's a bad man.
And it's like, nah, man, it's political.
Entrepreneur in the salon industry. I always tell my clients, y'all don't come because...
We had NYYA, 42, SALON owner. Now, this story is quite sad. Her story is that, you know what, she had 4 miscarriages. But she really wants to be a wife, a housewife. And have a child. Now, my problem here is that desperation. Remember, Mike from season 1 was saying, I told you about that desperation to have a kid thing. Like, yo, as much as I want to see you have children and flourish, you can't think about having kids out of a secure relationship. You don't want to do that on purpose. Like, if you do it by mistake, we understand. But if you do it on purpose, like, yo, that's not a platform you want to build on bringing a child into it, man. Really, you don't want that kind of situation. You want to be able to bring a child into a secure platform, if at all possible, so that you can be able to move, to be able to provide for that child a safe, emotionally, financially, and physical arena, you know? But I understand her desperation behind it because obviously she's lost a couple of children between that time.
Raised there, 52 years young.
I never get women my age because they think I'm young. If it wasn't for this little gray, you know, other than that, they be looking at me like...
Listen, when it comes to musicians, I don't play with them. You know, because the musicians, you know, y'all know about musicians. Their heart, the way they play games, dangerous type of guys, you know. One minute they are loving you, Loving you is easy cause you're beautiful. That note was all over the place. But you know, musicians, you know, they were playing strings on the key and playing strings on the guitar, and then playing strings and then playing on your heartstrings. It's like, yo, Raymond looks like a playboy. Okay, he's played as a musician behind Tank and Dems. You know, he's got great energy. He's infectious, yo. He could be a dark horse. You know, he's got his youth. And although he's 52, he's got a nice, good-looking youth about him. I think he might be a little bit short. That may be the only thing. You know, and he's saying obviously his guitar pays the bills.
Played guitar with Tank, Genuine, Andy Stone. That guitar is how I pay the bills.
When he said that, I thought to myself, that means don't interrupt my work. Don't come and interrupt my work. My line of work has to do what it needs to do. Okay, that's how I get paid. That's how I make my money. That's how I eat. Don't cross that line. If you're a woman and I'm with you, know that my work is important. That's what I heard when he said about the guitar pays my bills. You know, so as a woman, you gotta be secure because this is a guy that's gonna have access to women all over the place. Now he has 5 kids, and I said, oh my god. You know what? If women are disqualified for having too many baby fathers, I think he's gonna be disqualified for having too many kids.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
Personally, it's a lot, you know. 5 kids, bro. You might want to just stick to dating, you know, outside of the show, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Sorry, I was stubborn, you know, and it had to be my way or the highway, and she chose the highway, and I wasn't ready for it.
And then obviously he spoke about the fact that he's stubborn, it's his way or the highway. And again, in a long-term relationship, you've got to be able to give and take. That stubbornness will kill your partner. Yeah, it's a partnership. We're working together, trying to get somewhere. But the fact that he had that attitude at that time, he said, it's also the stubbornness what helped him to be able to develop the body that he's got now. I mean, because he was hurt by one of his ex-girlfriends or like woman that he was dating, the first baby mother of his first child's baby mother. And so, you know, that pushed him to go and get himself into shape and move just different, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, it was... I get that, you know, we turn pain into passion. I respect it. Whether he will last long in this competition again, I don't know. You know, I don't know about Raymond.
Oh my God, dating in Houston is a nightmare. It is a joke. I wish we had like, you know how people always talk about like the 90s R&B.
Alex 32, software specialist. Okay, Alex looks like Alexis. I don't know what's going on, but she's got a beautiful body, and she's got a very soft nature. She's going to be probably a dangerous girl. And I say that in the sense of, if she's got a bit of a backbone, she would do absolute bits in the show. Because, look, she's a good-looking girl. You know, she's got a good energy. She seems like she's got a smart head on her shoulders. And she's pretty, like, let's be real. And the fact that, you know, she wants that 90s type of love. She's a bit of a hopeless romantic in that shape. So, you got a bit of the goof and the hopeless romantic, but you've also got a bit of that sass. Not want to say sass, I want to say good vibes in there. You know what I mean?
That it's like no one ever wants to work towards anything anymore.
I've had, but I can see a little bit of Alexis in her in terms of looks. She don't have Alexis' energy though. But I do feel like her beauty will cause men to come towards her. But maybe if she looks like she might have a few insecurities due to the fact that she was in a really bad relationship. She was engaged. He cheated after a month after getting engaged. Similar enough to what happened to Winter. Like, these men out here, you're getting married and cheating on your women. What is going on? Huh? Are you confused? You are married. 3 weeks in. 3 weeks in. Come on. A month into this one, you're cheating already, bro. And so she has a wall up, and it takes a while to trust you. Now, we're going to see a big difference. We're going to see a big difference between her wall being up, and we're going to have a difference between Denise's wall being up. You're going to see a difference in how the men approach her, because her beauty is going to allow her, and she is beautiful.
It takes me a while to break it down just to know that I can trust you.
I've actually been celibate for about almost 2 years.
Her beauty and her light skinnedness as well, I'm going to be very honest, is going to give her an advantage when it comes to the wall up. It will look more mysterious. It will look, and a man will look at it and go, it's worth breaking down. In comparison to Denise. And we're going to see it. You already know I talk about his colorism stuff all the time. And so, You know, she spoke about the idealism that she wants a white picket fence. She's been celibate for the last 2 years. I'm telling you, she's about to drive some men crazy. Because I don't think she's intentionally knowing. I don't think she intentionally will play a game. I think she won't even know she's playing a game. I think she will just literally be herself, not know why these men are going crazy, because the celibacy is a big thing.
Celibate for about almost 2 years now. I mean, it's hard, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not saying that I'm gonna be celibate necessarily until marriage, but the next time I do have sex, I would like to be...
See that and just see the opportunity to try and break it. I want to be the one to break it kind of thing. Men are just pricks like that. So I think you're going to see that as well. But the idealism of the picket white fence, Alexis said something like that I think last season as well. So that idealism is going to be challenged very, very quickly, you know. Hopefully she finds a guy that will do that. And the last guy is Anthony, full of energy, full of life, full of vim.
I believe it's time for me right now to, you know, look for that one person who can handle Mr. Anthony.
He's a student support, MGR, played Arena 2 football. This guy's going to be dangerous. He's going to be the game player. He's an alpha male in there. Yeah, he's going to cause trouble in there. You know what I mean? You know, he's got a confidence that catches your eye, innit? It's just whether it's going to be confidence that's going to turn corny or confidence that's going to turn mysterious. And that's going to be the key thing. Is he going to be confident corny? Because that little naked dance that he did there, shaking his body like that, you know, fam, doesn't really match the alpha male persona. So we're going to see whether his energy is going to handle. But I definitely know that I think Anthony will come top. You'll see Falakani as well, I believe, as well. You know, you will see a few more as well. I think Jay will probably be there as well. Yeah, there'll be a few guys that were there. I know Brian's going to be there. We see a little cutscene as well. So it's going to be interesting at the very beginning. The mix-up is where everything is. At the moment, this is just first looks. First, you know, taste of people. But actually, it gets the nitty-gritty is next week when we get to see them actually mixed together. Then we can really have a real conversation around who and what people are vibing with. So guys, make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, and click on that bell button for a notification of the uploads. And we appreciate you.